This video is brought to you by Tosin Taiwo.
It knocks your confidence because you feel like, are you not as good as you think you are? And am I not good enough to get the role? You know, I'm Nigerian and I can't just go and work wherever, right? It's just a mix of feeling very like powerless and just like, can I still get the roles or what I want? Sometimes things just don't work out or it takes longer than you might want.
I did one thing, it wasn't working out. And I was like, well, I need to change this up.
I'm not actually sure what I want to do. One of the best things you can do for yourself in this industry is...
Our guest today is Ire Aderinokun, a renowned tech entrepreneur and investor. With over a decade of experience in the tech industry, Ire is Nigeria's first female web technologies expert, recognized by Google. She co-founded Helicarrier, a YC-backed blockchain company, and is a founding member of the Feminist Coalition, which champions women's equality in Nigeria and notably coordinated fundraising for the EndSARS movement. Hey, Ire, thanks for joining me on the podcast. This is my first podcast.
Thanks for having me. I'm very excited to be the first interviewee.
I can't believe I've finally done it. As you know, we're doing a Growth Through Failure podcast talking about failures, and hopefully I'm going to get me and the audience will get some lessons from this.
You will.
So I'm going to kick it off by asking you to share with us a significant failure that you've experienced.
I guess thought about what I was going to speak about today. And I think the experience or the failure that I would say comes to mind or sort of sticks with me is when I was a bit earlier in my career. I had started doing like freelance web development for a while, and then I started working for a couple of Nigerian companies, and I wanted to try and get a job at a bigger company, so somewhere like a Google or a Netflix, that kind of thing. And I spent quite a long time applying for jobs at different companies. I would say my whole job application phase, I was doing this while I was working, so it wasn't like, I was out of work and needed a job, but the whole process took maybe like a year plus trying to applying to different things, getting rejected by so many different companies. And I would say just that whole process, getting very close to a few companies that I felt, okay, this was finally going to be it. One company in the US, one company that would have been in the UK, and it just not really actually getting to where I wanted to go. So I would say that whole experience was very, I don't know, I mean, it's disheartening to kind of go through that like over such a long period and getting so close to different roles and it not really working out as well. That's also very disheartening. So I would say that experience is a, experience of failure that sticks with me.
Yeah, and I think the main reason I'd wanted to do this was because we hear a lot about people's successes all over social media and but you don't necessarily hear what happened for these people to get to where they got to. And in terms of your experience, I'm not sure many people know about what you had to face to get to hopefully where you've got to now and where you're still going to, because life is a continual journey, as it were.
Exactly.
So, and you touched on it a little bit in terms of the kind of emotions you experienced. You said it was disheartening. Could you elaborate on that? What other emotions did you experience at this time?
Yeah, I mean, I think it really, knocks your confidence because you feel like, are you not as good as you think you are? And you get so close to different things. So I would speak about two particular experiences. So one was interviewing with Netflix, and this was going to take me to live in the US. And the issue there, the interview seemed to go well, or at least they gave me feedback and said that it all went well. And what actually stopped that was basically just visa issues at the end of the day. It was I would have had to apply for a specific, I forget what it's called now, maybe like a O1 visa. And it's only for people who are maybe I don't know, you're a Nobel Prize winner or something. So they basically did an assessment on me and said, well, they don't think that it's like my application would go through. So they weren't going to spend the time and energy to try and sponsor me to do that visa.
Netflix did the assessment.
Yeah, exactly. So they do an initial assessment. Like they, I guess, link you up with a lawyer or somebody that will assess you, and then they will determine whether it's worth actually even trying to do that. So that was extremely disheartening. And then, like I said, also it really just knocks your confidence, because you feel like, well, I mean, I know I'm not a Nobel Prize winner, but like I thought I could, I thought I was pretty good, right? That was very frustrating. And then the second one I would speak about was with Google. So that one was a bit strange because I never really got a rejection or anything like that. It was just, it almost sort of like fizzled out. It was like,
how did that happen?
I went for different interviews. I also went for an in-person interview, which was like a full day interview. It's like 5 different interviews, including a lunch, which was also sort of an interview, because you're like having lunch with somebody who works at Google, and they're kind of, it's like a culture fit interview type of thing. So it was like an extremely draining, long day. And then they kind of said that they were sort of putting a pause on hiring at the moment. And then like it just sort of never, then I just never really heard back. So I was like, I don't know whether this is even a rejection or like,
So
I don't know how to take this.
You got an email from them or like?
Yeah, they just said like, oh, they're putting a pause on hiring at the moment.
It wasn't a call.
Yeah, I think it was. I don't remember. It was probably like an email. So that was also just frustrating. And I mean, there was another one, which was actually like the stars literally aligned. The company was great. The team was great. Like everything was great. Then literally they got acquired the day after they said, oh, they're going to like give me an offer.
Oh, wow.
And they were like, oh, they've stopped hiring. And I was just like, what is going on? So it's just a mix of like feeling like, oh, wait, am I not good enough to get the role? But even when you get so close, then something happens, whether it's, that seems like it's out of your control. So you just feel helpless, whether it's like a visa. I can't help the fact that, you know, I'm Nigerian and I can't just go and work wherever, right? Or a company gets acquired and they just stop the hiring process. So it's just a mix of feeling very like powerless and just like, okay, well, one, am I as good as I think I am? But even if I am, can I still get the roles or what I want because of just random things that happen?
Yeah, a quick little segue. You've always told me that you wouldn't live in the US and stuff like that. And like you applied for Netflix in the US. So what changed?
Well, this was before I got scared of all their guns. At the time, I was still young and I was still like, oh my God, I want to go and live in Silicon Valley. And I wasn't really thinking about the other stuff. So this was before I got like, before I felt like, oh, I don't want to live in the US. At that time, I was like, oh, no, I was still very swept up in the, oh, I'm going to be the next Steve Jobs or whatever.
Okay.
Yeah.
So like you've kind of outlined what you were feeling and how you were feeling. So how did you manage these emotions? I mean, never-ending list of rejections almost.
Yeah. I don't know, to be honest. Like, I think, well, one, as I mentioned, I was in a job at the moment. So it wasn't as much of an existential crisis of like, oh, I don't have anything going on. So I was able to sort of somewhat compartmentalize it and not feel like, oh, I have nothing if I don't have this job. So I was still enjoying the work I was currently doing. But I also was, I guess, also sort of going through this with some other friends who are also thinking of trying to apply for jobs outside of Nigeria. So kind of going through that together and facing those rejections together, I guess, sort of helped. And
what you didn't actually elaborate on, like, what role who were you working for in Nigeria, and what was the role, and what roles were you applying for at Netflix and Google and the other company? What was the name of the other company that was acquired?
Trello.
Okay.
It was a software engineering roles that I was applying for, and I was a software engineer / head of technology in Big Cabal Media in Nigeria. So it was basically a similar type of role I was applying for. I just wanted to work at a bigger company, more established, get to learn more. So that was basically it.
I guess my follow-up question to that is like, were there any specific strategies or like mental models, or like how did you go about like, okay, this is what's going on, how am I going to overcome this? How did you go about doing that? Like, what strategies did you employ? What like resources did you use, or what mental models did you like? Did you do yoga or like anything like that?
Well, I don't know about
Because I know you like yoga
mental
now.
models. Yeah, I mean, like, I don't know if yoga has helped at the time, but I don't know. I would say that what helped me, I guess, get past this, because I guess I'm not still in the same position, right? Was that I ended up just having to change my strategy. So instead of focusing on just like, I guess, applying to companies, one, I guess, realized that I have a network I had built somewhat of a name for myself in the technology industry, and I had a network that I could try to leverage to help. So I sort of switched to reaching out through like social media, but specifically Twitter. Well, at
Twitter
the time,
was
when Twitter was still
big,
called Twitter, and just kind of putting it out there that, oh, I am looking for a role, and if anyone in my network kind of knows of anybody or anything. And because I had, like I said, built up this network and this name for myself, I had people in these companies or in other companies sort of help amplify that. And so it sort of switched to a position where I then had other organizations or companies that would sort of reach out to me rather than me just applying to random job applications that I saw. So the role that I eventually ended up getting was through a company that's like one of their engineers actually saw my tweet and reached out to me, and then I was able to sort of even fast track the whole application process to eventually get that role. And that was at IO in Germany, the founders or the makers of Adblock Plus. So that was very helpful, because since it was sort of the other way around, I knew that all these other issues were not like going to really be an issue. I wasn't going to get to the point where, okay, they liked me and then they say, oh, we're not hiring anymore, or anything like that. It's like they already know who they are going for. So that strategy really helped. And that's why I always tell people, one of the best things you can do for yourself in this industry is, starting a blog, doing speaking at conferences, just sort of build a profile so that you have something to leverage when you are, applying for whatever role that you want to do.
Yeah, you've basically gone on to like my final kind of question when it comes to your failure. And that basically is, what like are the 3 key takeaways you would provide to others or give to others in terms of like, okay, this is what I navigated and this is what I learned from the situation. So like what 3 key takeaways would you give to others?
Yeah, well, I mean, like I mentioned, the thing about the blog or speaking at conferences, I always recommend it to everyone, specifically women in the industry, because I think for us, it is more of we have to almost like prove ourselves a bit more. So I think that really helped me kind of bypass a lot of like the issues I might have faced where somebody comes and says like, oh, do you really know what you're talking about? And I'm like, well, you can see, you've read my blog, right? So you can't even say anything. So I think that's, and just not being afraid to really put yourself out there. That
So
really
the first
helps.
one is the blog.
Yeah, well, it's more about putting yourself out there. It doesn't have to be through a blog. It can be through speaking. It can be through, I don't know, mentoring, or just sort of doing something to put yourself out there a bit more, which, like I said, I think it is something that's important for everyone, but maybe it's even more important as a woman in this industry. So that's the one thing. Second one is, I mean, it's easier said than done, but try to not let these different failures or just random situations, not to let them kind of knock your confidence too much. It's obviously easier said than done, like I said, but just to recognize that sometimes things is just like a situation. It's not like, oh, because you are bad or something. Like sometimes things just don't work out, or it takes longer than you might want. So it's maybe more about keeping it all in context and just kind of taking a step back and kind of not letting, I guess, that failure define you, right?
Did you keep it in context then, would you say?
I would say that I did, I think. Yeah, I would say that I did. And the
would you say
last
that you
one,
did because you had a job at that moment in time? Like,
I mean, I don't know, I guess.
or like your friends
yeah.
helping out as well?
Yeah, I guess maybe, there's some things that I got close to. So I felt like, okay, it's not that I know nothing, right? Like otherwise I wouldn't have gotten to certain levels. And even like the example with Netflix, right? As frustrating as that was also still somewhat validating because I know that they wanted to work with me, and it was more just the fact that I have a Nigerian passport. Basically, that kind of ruined
Those stocks at
everything.
Netflix,
So,
man. If she were to get in,
if I had those stock
oh my
options, right? I
Lord.
know.
God, what year was
yeah.
this?
I don't know. Wait, how old am I? I can never
You're-
really
what,
guess.
you're
Maybe like
30
8 years ago or something.
So
Like,
you were
yeah.
25 then.
Yeah, maybe around then. Yeah.
And was this the Google and Netflix? And
They were all around the same time.
they
yeah.
were all around that. So 8 years
Yeah.
ago, so 2016.
Maybe more like 2015.
So 9 years ago
2014,
now.
15, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah.
Goodness.
I know. Thanks for rubbing it in even more.
And there was a third
there's
takeaway.
a third takeaway, which is, I guess, more about like realizing when you need to change your strategy. So I could have just continued doing the same thing, and maybe it would have led to something in the end. Maybe it would have taken another, I don't know, year plus or something before I actually got something. But I think realizing that I needed to change my strategy, and I guess not being afraid to do that, even though it was maybe a bit more out of my comfort zone to do it that way. But it just showed how like that really completely changed the game, right? So I think not being afraid to reassess and realize like, okay, maybe you need to try a new strategy that can help. Yeah.
Yeah, not get bogged down with doing the same thing over and over again.
Yeah,
essentially.
exactly.
When I was looking for work prior to doing what I'm doing now, I was applying, and everybody at school was like applying on LinkedIn, on like online and things like that. And I was just like, okay, I'm doing this and I'm not getting anywhere.
Yeah.
So I went on a website called Apollo.io, and one of my friends was working there, and you could just get anyone's email address. And well, you know this story, but I'm telling others about it. I'm looking at everyone else like that's watching this. You could get anyone's email address, and I would literally, I had a list of organizations I would be interested in working for, and people I'd want to be speaking to. So I just emailed them directly with a message, with an example of work I did, and just got on with it and emailed lots of people and got like a 30% response rate. And a whole bunch of these, I ended up getting the job I wanted, but a whole bunch of these people, even though I never got a job with everyone, are still part of my network now. And that was basically me doing what you did. I did one thing, it wasn't working out, and I was like, well, I need to change this up, and did it, and it kind of worked out. So yeah, that I wholeheartedly co-sign what you said.
Who's like the wildest person that you emailed?
Oh, that's a really good question. I emailed a whole bunch of random folk. I emailed Richard Branson. I got a automatic response saying he was on holiday somewhere in the Caribbean.
It said in the Caribbean that he's in.
Yeah, it said like, I'm on holiday in blah blah blah. I forget the name. I think he owns an island in the Caribbean as well. I'll be back on so and so time, and then I'll.
So did you follow
back.
up when he was back from?
Well, he didn't follow up, and I didn't follow up to the email.
Yeah.
I also emailed Elon Musk, and it was his email address.
Right.
But I mean, I emailed like I don't know if I'll call them out, but like I emailed some very, very senior people in massive companies. I can't call them out because it's gonna be out here. But they responded, and they've met up with me. They like have spoken to me, and some of these people are now mentors of mine and have kind of got my back going forward. So you never know who would respond. So I mean, there's that saying, right? You miss 100% of the shots you don't take. So
exactly.
Just take those shots for people to get to know you a little bit more.
Okay.
I've got some random rapid fire questions for you. I've got about 10. I don't know if we'll like go through everything, but I'm just going to try them out and see what you think. So the first one is, what book would you recommend?
There are so many different ones.
You've got to think of one particular book. I know you read a lot.
More than one.
You read a lot. Like what like really stands out for you?
Yeah, can I mention more than one?
If you want.
Okay, well, I'll mention, I guess, two. So one that I read recently, it's called No, I don't actually remember what it's called. Oh, it's called like the science of consciousness or something. That's not what it's called. Anyway, but I thought it was very interesting because it kind of just shows how like octopi, I don't know what the plural of that is, are conscious, but in a separate, different way that humans are conscious. So it's almost like an example of like what would it be like if consciousness evolved in aliens or something like that. It's
Like that
very
movie we watched.
interesting. Yeah, it is kind of like a
What's the name of that
Arrival.
movie? Arrival,
Yeah, it's kind
yeah.
of like that. I mean, it's not the same concept, obviously,
Yeah.
but the point is just that's like, it just shows how, one, we don't really know that much about like a lot of animals or creatures that are in the ocean, and just shows how differently we or anyone could have evolved. So I found that very fascinating. The second one I would recommend is Richard Dawkins' book. It's called Outgrowing God. And it's basically a book that I would recommend both to people who are like religious or atheists. I think it's just a different way of looking at like religion. And I would say it's a book that was very impactful for me.
Okay. What quote do you live by, if any at all?
Okay. Well, I don't know if it's a quote that I live by, but it's a quote that I saw, and it's not one specific quote really, but it's a general thought. It was an article I saw, and I actually forgot who the name of the person that wrote it, but I actually had printed it out and pasted it on my wall. And the thought behind it is more about, I guess, being a person who like acts and actually kind of just does things. So it's more about telling you that like if there's something you want to do, you need to actually start doing the thing. And it's not about like, I don't know, reading a book about it, or if you say you want to like be a web developer,
Start a podcast.
if you want to start a podcast, it's not about like watching a billion YouTube videos that will tell you how to start a podcast.
Like
it's about
I did.
actually going out and starting the podcast. Or the example in the article was like, if you want to be a web developer, downloading Xcode or whatever is not the thing, right? And it also tells you that, you know, human minds or your brains, you kind of trick yourself into thinking that you are doing something when you're doing all this other like busy work around the thing. And it's basically to remind you like you need to actually do the thing. Like doing all this other stuff kind of tricks you into feeling good, like you're accomplishing something, but you're not accomplishing anything until you actually do that thing.
Like Phil Knight's Nike quote, right? Just do it.
Just do it, basically. I guess that is the quote. Just do it.
Just do it. So probably is.
Yeah.
Just do it.
Yeah.
What's the one skill you believe every person should have?
Okay, now I thought of two things. The first thing I was going to say was the skill of like being able to learn. So teaching yourself, I guess. But the second thing I'm going to say, which I think is sort of even supersedes that, is just discipline. Being able to say you want to do something and actually, like, I guess, again, just do it. But discipline, basically, I would say is the skill that everybody needs to have.
I mean, that's discipline is probably informed by habits as well, right? Just having consistent habits, positive habits, obviously.
Yeah.
That leads to discipline and execution.
Yeah. And it's something you can learn, I think. I don't think it's something that you're just born with or something. You just have to, I guess, have the discipline to try and become more disciplined.
I mean, so I guess it's like, goes back to a book, right? The Atomic Habits book that I'm starting to read now that I'm not as consistent as I should be in terms of reading it. If you weren't in your current profession, what would you be doing? Or basically, what do you want to do?
Okay. I guess this is not something I can really answer at the moment because now I'm sort of in a career transition. I'm about to start an MBA program in a few months, and I am aiming to use this program to help me, you know, self-discovery to figure out what it is I'm going to do post the program. So it's a difficult question to answer because what I'm doing now is nothing really. I mean, I guess I just finished doing like a finance
CFA
course thing. But right now I'm just in this sort of in between and trying to figure out what I will do next.
Okay. What's something you've learned about yourself in this past year?
I guess I would say maybe I am more resilient or adaptable than I thought. Like, if you had asked me maybe like 5 years ago what I would be doing, I think I might have said I will always be, a software engineer. I'll always be in tech in that way. And I guess I've sort of realized in this past year that maybe that might not always be the case. Like I don't necessarily know. So I guess what I've learned is that I'm not actually sure what I want to do. I don't know. Like it's not a good answer, but like that's the answer.
You're keeping it real. You're keeping
Yeah.
it real. What's one habit you're trying to build or break?
Yeah, I don't have bad habits.
But you must have a bad habit. This is going to be an
that I'm
interesting
trying
answer.
to build or break. There's nothing in particular that I'm trying to build or break right now. Like right now, I'm just trying to chill before I start my program.
Okay, that's a habit to try and relax.
Actually, in fact, that's the habit I'm trying to build. I'm trying to like actually learn how to take a break and not have something going on, because I feel like in this period I might find something that's work to do and I should not do
Yeah,
that.
you were talking about like doing
we're gonna
some
start
kind
an
of like
AI
an AI startup.
Exactly.
Exactly. It was like, yo, you just finished the CFA thing. You've done like an MBA application, that you got into the MBA program. And now you're talking about doing an AI startup before you go to the program. It doesn't make any sense.
Yeah. So that is what I'm trying to like do then.
Okay, cool. If you could have dinner with anyone, dead or alive, who would that be and why?
Oh my God. Okay, I would just say my dad, I guess. Like, because I feel like I have a lot that I would like to speak to him about. So
what does success mean to you?
What does success mean to me? I guess professional success is more like doing something that's, the whole thing of the intersection between something that is like you enjoy doing, something that brings value to other people as well. So that like ikigai thing. Yeah. I guess that is sort of like success. Doing something that I feel like I'm good at, I enjoy doing, and also is impactful. So there's that. But I guess outside of that, I think just living a life in which I am able to enjoy the different aspects of my life. Like I'm able to enjoy family, enjoy work, and not feel like you're just kind of stuck in this, I guess, the rat race where you're just maybe having to spend all of your time doing work and then you don't feel like you have time for other things in your life. Like, I guess having a balanced life, I guess I would say.
I think for me, success is being able to do things on your own terms and not... So like, yeah, like I mean, ideally, I would want all the money in the world to do whatever I want. But at the same time, it's like, what are you going to do with that, right? For me, like, I would want to be able to, like, have an impact, be utilizing my skill sets in having said impact, positive impact. And then also having the time to, make sure, like, I'm spending enough good time with myself, like taking breaks. With my family and having good time with my friends as well. And I felt like I kind of lost that over the past couple of years, and it's something that I need to like kind of regain as well. So
yeah,
but yeah, it's ikigai, as it were.
Exactly.
The Japanese have a term for everything, and this is I think that just kind of sums it up.
Yeah.
And the final question: what's one piece of technology? So, I mean, you're a tech person. I know you're transitioning from you may be transitioning from one field to another. But what's one technology do you think that will change the future, that will be truly transformative? I have a feeling you're going to give a very obvious answer.
What, like AI?
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, I do think that it is like, it is already being quite transformative. But I think we're still to see how transformative it will be, I guess. I think I would like to say, blockchain technology, I would like to actually see it achieve the things that it wants to achieve in terms of just like being a new financial system, kind of opening up, democratizing or decentralizing finance. I would like to see that actually achieve what it aims to achieve. But I don't know. It's a difficult one because it's obviously AI is like the hot thing right now, and it is already changing a lot. So I think that is an obvious answer. Like,
Do you think everyone's going to lose their jobs?
well, maybe.
I feel like everyone should just move to Portugal and just chill out, like one or two of my friends are doing now.
Right.
It's like they've just given up.
What do you mean they've given up? Who has given up?
No, one of my friends said if you have assets or anything, it's just like, just give up because it's going to take all the jobs.
Right.
And it's a wrap.
Well, I don't know about that. I think like if it does come to the point where it really does like take a lot of jobs, I don't think it's that, oh, everybody's just going to be screwed. Like the world is just going to have to change. We're going to have to like set up systems, I don't know, universal basic income, all of that kind of stuff. Like the world is just going to have to adapt to the fact that nobody can work anymore. I don't think it's going to be like everyone is just going to be on the street and unemployed.
Yeah, but that could screw up certain places. Like, I don't know, maybe the US, they've got this whole hustle culture, work hard.
Yeah.
And you just have to change it up.
Maybe. We'll see. Yeah.
Well, no, I really appreciate your time. Thank you very much.
Thanks for having me. This was fun.
Cheers. Cheers. Thank you for listening to Growth Through Failure, where we overcome failure one story at a time. Enjoy the episode, then like, subscribe, and share with your circle. Remember, failure is a stepping stone to success. So stay resilient, stay curious, and embrace the power of failure.